We're not franchise skulls. Well, not yet. Once we get our name out there, we'll have a chance to join them, because we can be just as psycho and vicious.
Ah, you'll see for sure once we're in. It's the last...
Throw him off his game.
But I don't. In fact, I dislike them so much I'm willing to drag you boys back to the station just to...
Hey, there's no need for that.
Yeah. Didn't you cops, like, have some questions about skulls or some shit?
Oh man, yeah. We're not fucking kids, man.
Yeah. We're not fucking kids. And we're also not fucking confrontational. The mood is chill here.
The Union does their share of policing in Martinez, at least where gangs are concerned. That's why...
Don't you worry about that.
Yeah, we are. Mm-hmm. What about them? Well, first off, it's a statement and not necessarily something that characterizes me as a... The word piss epitomizes the struggle taking place in the world. Things being defined as they seem, not as they are. And also, you've got to admit, it catches the eye. And since the Grand Piper is slowly but steadily moving towards basing the economy on it, attention. What I mean by this is, we are all...
It seems that the young man has a certain expertise in at least one field.
Like I said before, many men keep searching for the one, for so-called true love, which is actually just obsession
I'm wondering if the poetics come with the jacket, or are they...
To catch a fish, you'll need to hurl the lure many times, and even then it isn't certain that you'll get anything. If you blow up the lake, though, you get more fish in a shorter time. And, for time is of the essence and fleeting ever so quickly, one must think of a way to fuck the whole world and not get caught up in fucking someone. Because when one fucks everything, he fucks nothing.
Hate to admit it, but in a weird way, is it a coincidence that here we have two badass jackets and two badass cops?
Yes? Leather jackets adorned with immature writing? The ideology they convey helps the boys justify poor choices in life and fashion. I'm not a fan. What are you implying? I'm not sure I understand you, Detective. Neither. Fine, if only to end this discussion. Theoretically, if I were a juvenile delinquent, if I were to already be down that path, I think peace is the stronger of the two. Seems about right, especially considering your heroic...
That's an origin story.
So are we done here? Or... You don't need us around for your secret whisper party, do you? That ride is...
Hey, piss. Look who it is.
These guys aren't scary.
Why?
That ride is...
Hey, piss. Look who it is.
These guys aren't.
That ride is...
Hey, piss. Look who it is.
These guys.
That ride is...
Hey, piss. Look who...
These guys aren't.
That ride is...
Hey, piss. Look who it is.
These guys aren't.
That ride is...
Hey, piss. Look who it is.
These guys are.
That ride is fucking lightning.
Hey, piss. Look who it is.
These guys are.
That ride is...
Hey, piss. Look who it is.
These guys.
That ride is...
Hey, piss. Look who...
No, no, no. Don't ask anything. Be subtle and scary. The boys dream about being skulls. Use that.
What? No. Skulls don't have kings.
Yeah, man, keep your voice down. Skulls don't take it lightly.
Prospect must be a hierarchical term. Probably in the lower.
Wow, you boys are ambitious. Only prospects and already planning a coup in the skulls. You are dead.
He gets it. Passive.
Shut the fuck up. Are you trying to get us killed?
Now bring it to the jackets and, yes, start shouting.
Please be quiet. What? What do you want? The jackets?
Oh, man. Okay. I get it.
Fuck.
The lieutenant watches the boys take their jackets off with mild amusement.
I'm absolutely okay with not having either one, thank you. This case doesn't require us to go undercover or raise hell. In fact, I don't think...
Cold-hearted cop.
Do.
The jackets are meant to complete each other. If a man was standing...
I don't know, Eric. It's cold out.
Yeah, let's get out of here. The cops fucked us.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? Yes. The armor was produced by Fairweather. It was part of a special order for Corps de Pharmacie, a security firm contracted to protect the interests of Oranese pharmaceutical companies in the Seminine conflict. So, it seems the armor went to Seminine. That's where the paper trail ends, though. Even the firm has proven difficult to track. Corps de Pharmacie has been renamed Yes! That is the most recent name the ICP has been able to connect to the CBP. And the one before it was Downwell. I also have one called No, they were called Sediments. And Somatosensor, it seems. All that during the last 9 years.
A suit of armor like this would have been manufactured with a particular person's physique in mind. You should ask for whom this suit was fitted.
Yes, but the ICP tends to be reluctant to share private sector records. Sure. Call back tomorrow. Hopefully I will have more information for you then. Not yet, but I was able to convince the database people to share private sector information. Just a second. Sylvie Malay.
Yes. Hello? Oh, great. What else do you need, detective?
You hear?
Anything else I can help you with, officer?
10-4, come in. Fireworker, over. 10-4, sir, glad to hear that. I'll write down that there...
Feels good to get that off your chest, right? Celebration with beer?
10-4, sir. Sorry, but I'm under orders to give a negative to... 10-4. Orders as order. Roger that. 10-10.
This must be it. The basement door is weather-worn. The copper nails holding the upholstery in place. The door to the Weasel's den. You try to be as silent as you can. It takes a bit of rattling. Finally, the door unlocks with a small clack. The sound of the key turning still echoes in the yard. Hopefully no one. There's nothing else to do than to leave and tell Everard. There might be important information in the apartment. This is the flag of Revachol, the suzerainty. This isn't just one sun, but there are little suns dancing around the big sun. It's an optical atmospheric anomaly the first settlers saw. Happens in cold weather. 6 small suns around the big one. This complex halo phenomena is how old Revachol got its flag. The lieutenant does not bow to the flag. It accepts your... A row of mugs sits on the shelf. Each one depicts a human figure. A dark-skinned woman grinning amidst a little ring. Though cheerful, the images on the ceramic make you vaguely uncomfortable. There's something disdainful in the way the curves and lines of the bodies. It looks like the artist is celebrating diversity, but underneath, he's just making fun of these people. Of course, you slippery bastard. The lieutenant picks up one of the mugs.
I'm beginning to feel better about breaking into this man's apartment.
Yes. Your broken mug friend would feel very much at home here.
There's the missing tin soldier. Whoever lives here might have used the Whirling's container to dump his trash, and now they've drawn the ire of the Union.
An interesting little clue. Let's see where this goes. Clues have a way of magically connecting to other clues down the road.
Who knows? I'm not expecting too much from this clothes in the trash lead either way. It might turn out to be some random local matter, but still.
You could ask Everard who this person is once you're done here. A row of mugs sits on the shelf. There, Working class drunk. You know what this means. Cracked it. All in a good day's work. What do you mean, what did I crack? Look at how working class that drunk is. Yes, and you found him. Now go and tell the working class woman. Didn't she repeatedly tell you her husband isn't Missindo? Do marriages make any sense? Does honor? You're not a filthy philosopher. You're an officer of law. It's time to ace this case and not brood over your reputation. We can deal with the perception management later. There's no need for champagne when there's honor, recruit. Go and...
How can I help you? Yeah, the janitor who gave me the key to his apartment said the guy's a bit of an asshole. Like I said before, I don't know much about this weasel, but the bossman said he's a real piece of work. Thanks for helping out, friend.
Mr. Dubois, every worker... To hell with it. I'm very glad to hear that, Harry. One question. You didn't actually happen to stumble in and see what's inside the apartment?
He's trying to figure out if you're lying.
You're right, Harry. You only had to unlock the door, which you...
He was testing you.
Now let's get down to brass tacks. It's time for men like me and you to figure out who's killed who and why. Real police work is gonna start happening now. I promise you, Harry, this is gonna be good. By now, I'm sure you've figured out who the dead man was working for. The bad guys. Wild Pines. Sent to scare us. Another violent measure of the top hats against us flatcaps. Harry, this strike is the culmination of many, many mistakes made by the Wild Pines group. They tried...
You mean our victim?
A security contractor? Can you imagine that? Workers standing in peaceful protest, united in the spirit of fellowship.
He performs a motion as if spraying bullets from...
I'm talking beasts, hardened killers from proxy wars in Yisut, Semenine, Saramoritsa, you name it, they've done it. Raping... Everything they did there, they brought over here. They want to turn Revachol into a third world slum. Honestly, the only thing they didn't... No, Harry, the elephant is metaphorical, and so is the village, but the... Now, I haven't personally witnessed the brutalities out there. I have the luxury of staying in my container, you see. If I need to go... Yes, I'm an old man, Harry. My legs aren't what they used to be. They lift my... But enough about me and my fun container. The killers the company hired, I think there were 3 of them, all hardened commando types. One of them got downright suicidal, getting drunk, violent, a little rapey. Even their own negotiator couldn't control him. That's your boy, the one who likes hanging out and treat...
By negotiator, you mean?
Harry, what you need to realize is, we dock workers are not... We got grit, Harry. This whole neighborhood does. Push us hard enough and we push back. And when we do, we push to kill. Potentially, Harry, potentially. We got arm wrestling champions, rowing club people, There's a militant wing inside the Union. A group of people whose duties don't involve manual labor.
That sounds a bit like organized.
They're like you guys. Idealistic people who want to make sure bad things don't happen. And if they already have, well, punishment must follow.
Again, that sounds like organized crime.
So these idealists killed our...
One day Titus Hardy, leader of this peacekeeping faction, comes up to me and says, Bob, he probably worded it differently, but that was the idea. Sure sounded to me like they killed him.
Aren't you worried we might arrest them?
Oh, I'm not at all worried about that. These are not the kind of men who get arrested. They're Martinez boys, tough and gritty. I'd like to see...
He places a lot of faith in that lawyer girl. Perhaps this is a tactical error. Anyway.
How do I know? Let me tell you about these people. That's their MO. It's what they do. Last winter, some poor workers in Terminal E went on a little strike. The company sent in Sediment, a security... These guys turn up and start beating people. Tell you what, Harry, I wouldn't be surprised if we got the same mercenary company after a little rebranding.
So you believe the scabs were organized by the security...
You said it. Hell, one of those guys looks big enough to take down that proverbial elephant. Boys like that don't just happen to show up during strikes. Of course. You're always one step ahead of me, Harry. I'm no genius. I'm in this position because people like me. Tribunal? That sounds serious, Harry. We Union men should be shitting ourselves. I wish you hadn't told me that.
He's clearly happy about the tribunal.
Oh, Harry, what do I really think about the tribunal? You're trying to climb to second base with old Everard before you've even courted him properly.
He wants you to do more things for him before.
Oh, Liz is a bright one. I paid for that law degree myself, thinking it'll probably turn her all fancy. But hell, Harry, she came back a firebrand socialist. Sometimes she scares me with her zeal. Oh, they are simply fine young men, all 7 of them. Exemplary Union. Old Theo used to run them, but things really kicked into gear when Titus took the reins and named the group after himself. Gotta love his initiative.
Interesting. Who's second?
They're almost all of them great guys, born leaders. Work with them. Hell, interview them. But don't fight them. They really are just like you. Men who...
He's betting on them being useless to you.
But of course, it's the least I can do for my good friend Harry. I'll do it for...
You can now go and tell Titus about this. See...
Also, Harry, here's 5 real. I'm not giving you anything. I'm just holding out 5 real. Oh, I wasn't offering it to you, just holding it out there. But I'm willing to share information. Was there anything else? I don't know what happened, Harry. I wanted you to feel like Mr. Martinez. And, of course, I also wanted you to find your gun. But it's like I can't completely trust you. Yet. Yes, Harry. It's like I can't fully trust you if you're...
A man of the left. So you have to be a social... He's been hurt too much in the past. by men who aren't social democrats.
Just between us, I don't care for those lefty dinks either. It's all about power, and here's...
Kingsman, yes.
And what would this entail?
Once again, I require nothing unethical or illegal of you. You just need to get 2 little signatures on this piece of paper, and then mail it to my...
It depends. I don't think what we just got from Mr.
But, he thinks, it's your call.
As I said, it weighs on me heavily. But once we get really talking, well, I'm gonna hand you the keys to Martin A's. And maybe even...
He's saying as little as possible, as vaguely as he can, deliberately omitting things.
I'm glad you asked, Harry. The Union is going to build a modern youth centre in Martin A's. It will be righteous. We're gonna get... There's a nameless little street on the coast with some old houses around it. Most people have already signed. I just need 2 more signatures to get this mission off the ground, Harry. Yes, the little cul-de-sac on the coast, where all the men have drowned, in either the sea or the bottle, a gloomy place, doesn't have that Union attitude. They are just gonna have to deal with the construction noise for 6 months, and then they'll be living like kings.
Is he absolutely sure the tenants won't be thrown out in the street?
Am I? Harry, these people, Martin A's is the most important thing in my life. We're gonna build a youth centre there. The value of their properties goes up and kids have a place to play in. I'm looking out for these people, not pulling the rug from under them, Harry. I'm looking out for all of Martin A's, not just the harbour. You bring joy to my heart, Harry. Such a pleasure to be working with you. You need to get signatures from Isabel Sadie and Lillian Carter. The cul-de-sac is right past the pawn shop and across the canal. Once you have the signatures, mail this to 13022 La Rocca in La Delta. Then I'll know you're a real Kingsman and a patriot. Ah, yes. Your side investigation. Thank you. You've got some spirit clearing up phony drug accusations alongside this murder. I'll talk...
Actually, Rivershell doesn't have a mayor. He refuses to discuss it further. It's probably just a small nuisance to him.
My dear Harry, there are literally millions of containers in this harbour. I couldn't possibly... Harry, you smooth-talking son of a bitch. Time is a precious resource, and I...
Smooth talking? Maybe that's the way to go about opening the container. You should at least try...
Most certainly, Harry. Nothing brightens my day like brainstorm... By all means, Harry, what's...
The waves are beginning to die down. Look at those little bastards.
Why does she care about the waves so much?
What is it with waves and fishermen? We need to be out there with them, fishing, making a living. But until that happens, I can try to assist you the best I can. So, what will it be, officer? Where are you? This says by signing, I agree to living with construction noise. What exactly is... What a nice idea.
She sounds incredulous about the niceness of the idea.
That Evrart and the Union have nice plans for anything. I thought they only cared...
And those members have a vote when electing the head.
He has a pen in everything. Here you go. You're welcome.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. Eh? What's this about? Come now, I can't read all the scribble. Tell me what it says. Huh. I might be half-blind, but it looks like part of the village is gonna be a street. I see Lillian's name is already here. The girl is too trusting. Either way, I've seen it all before. You think they've got our interests at heart? Rich men are always selling poor men. Then the poor get pushed out of their homes, and the rich get a little richer.
In her mind, the Union is right-wing because Evrart is fat. It's that simple. She is headstrong, but there's a slight hesitation in there. You may be able to convince her. Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height. The carving on the door is block-like and angular, like the church itself. Two large beams shoot downwards, sinking into the wood before they reach the threshold. The surface is smooth from the wind, but moist to the touch. Feels exceptional. 300 tons of pine would fit together seamlessly. It's old too, cut and carved many centuries ago. This cheap-looking padlock is sturdily built. It shackles together a hasp, and it'll be easier to break the staple than the lock. Also, that sticker is interesting, somehow. You see a yellow circle with 2 X's and a big curve below them that looks like a mouth. You're pretty sure you haven't seen it before, but what the symbol depicts is clear enough. A smiling dead guy. The curve makes it smile, and the X's make it dead. There is something blindingly modern about this symbol. Its modernness puts to shame everything you've seen before. He takes off his glasses and uses a blue handkerchief to thoroughly wipe them clean before inspecting the sticker. Then he looks up, pauses, and replies.
No. Looks like a dead man smiling. Suggests junior delinquency. For Revachol aussi, the moral intern defined junior delinquents as minors between the ages of 10 and 16 who have committed an act in violation of the law. These acts aren't called crimes as they would be for adults. Crimes committed by minors are called delinquent acts. This was part of your officer's exams. I haven't seen that sticker before, and I'm not a youth. That level of conceptual thinking is not part of my skill set.
There's nothing like the sound of a sticker unpeeling. Now it's stuck to your thumb. Looks like today was a gold star day. The lock turns easily. You hear a click.
Let's go.
A great whoosh of air rushes into the dark in the heart of the city. The silence in this part of the church, it's almost palpable. All the shifting matter and shuffling of living things is gone. Nothing seems to exist beyond the church anymore. Maybe if you were to stand in just the right spot, even your footsteps would, and then it's gone. Almost all of it. But it seems the sound here is detached from its source somehow. If not blotted out, you can hardly hear your own breathing. You produce a few muffled thumps, after which the silence feels even more. Your voice is barely audible. Not a howl, but the softest. The lieutenant points to his ears and shakes his head.
Can you hear anything? The church just has strange acoustics. So
maybe the church was designed this way to prevent boisterous activity, singing and dancing on its premises. He doesn't seem entirely convinced, though. The orderly rows of ceiling panels become barely visible, then disappear completely in the darkness of the tower overhead. Just darkness without end. It makes your head filled with vague shapes of woodwork. There's nothing. You're dizzy and disoriented.
Officer, what are you looking at?
You see something. Maybe it's possible to... A machine stands in the corner, watched over by the figures.
Another radio computer. And this time it's already turned on. We should leave. I doubt this place bears any connection to the case. It's also quite similar to the one we have down at the station. Must be the same model.
The one you saw earlier was the Ream Civic. This is the Ream Prefect, a model number. The Ream Prefect is the governmental version of the commonly used Ream Civic model. Although mostly based on the same technology, the Ream Prefect is equipped with better noise attenuation circuits. You see fluorescent play and print buttons on the keyboard. A hatch connected to the central compartment is wide open. The lieutenant says nothing. You see the machine's glowing frame reflected back from his diamond-shaped glass. Behind the hatch sits a cube-like crisscross of filaments, smoldering in the dark like fireflies. Silver tape on the side says, in black marker, log, February, another filament memory. Press play to talk with the repeater. The speaker comes to life. Static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic driver. An old lady greets you. Her voice sounds...
Good morning, Fortress accident on Saint-Brun. This is the...
It's the same old woman you spoke with through the radio computer in the doomed commercial area.
Good, thank you. Please repeat. Is this the personal log? Good. Please
Let's look around. There's no use trying to guess the answer.
receive. Votre accident is there. Good.
The machine's keyboard is... There's no way to listen to the tape without a working tape player. A pawn shop would have a tape. The machine's keyboard, nothing happens. In white, silver, and apricot faience, the young mother of humanism stands above you. A crack runs across her body. She is impossibly tall, oval-faced and sad, a dark and radiant majesty. This is her innocence, Dolores Day. Cradled in her arms are a pair of glowing lungs, clearly visible from underneath her flowing dress. Your knees touch the floor. The floorboards are hard and cold. There you kneel among the snowdrifts, diffuse light falling on your hands. For the world is silent, but for the creeks. The woman looks down at you kneeling. She towers among her followers, architects, She acknowledges the passing of someone who is still alive. As that soft word passes through your mind, the lieutenant draws. Your fingertips touch your chest 4 times. Then you rise from your knees into the apricot-colored light of the window. Above you, the woman still smiles her distant smile, sundered by the crack.
Yes, I wasn't sure before, but this must be the DeLorean Church of Humanity in Martinez. It's a minor landmark, not easy to find. Most maps misplace it. It was built not long after Revachol's founding.
On the coast of an uninhabited archipelago where only animals had roamed before, in the wild reeds.
There used to be 7 stave churches on the coast. Les Sept Sœurs, they call them, the 7 sisters. Only one remains. The rest were burnt in the revolution or used for building materials. We should be respectful here, although the building appears to be deserted. I do not believe we'll find anything connected to the lynching here. Something else, perhaps?
Respectful? Is the lieutenant a follower of DeLoreanism? Despite the damage you've done to yourself, the title appears lodged in your hippocampus. This is Her Innocence Dolores Day, the innocence of humanism. No amount of Commodore Red can wipe her sad smile from your brain thing. It has survived the deluge and haunts you still, and will haunt you forever as it haunts all men. The highest category of historic individual. More. And innocence is elected to office by the founding party, a precedent that has taken place a mere 6th. And innocence is infallible. The decisions made by one are not decisions. They are inevitabilities. What would have happened anyway? Only accelerated, packed into decades instead of centuries. And innocence is a continuous, compressed event, a sacred human being. It is an honor and a glory to live when one. No, we are alone. 300 years ago, in the wake of the discovery of this Isola, the Insulindian, by exploring many things, you know she was a woman of the court, the wife of an influential Marchese, and eventually the principal advisor to Irene La Navigateur. Terribly, women of the court were expected to play both contract bridge and chess sufficiently well to prove an interesting challenge to a man. She made the most of her position in the anti-DeLorean court, a court visited by the most prominent thinkers and artists of the day. She was an almost preternaturally magnetic and intelligent individual. To her contemporaries, she appeared out of time, a messenger from the future of the species. We all fell in love with her, head over heels. Even before, it was on her advice that Irene La Navigateur sponsored a number of voyages into the Pale. A costly, often tragic endeavor. She was crowned 2 years after the first expedition returned, setting in motion what is widely considered the wow indeed. When her innocence was declared, and the queen she had advised for years fell on her knees before her, she was so overcome with emotion that her lungs, bystanders reported golden filaments lighting the already sunlit. That is why the lungs are the symbol of love for the cultures of the Real Belt. As did we all. The lands of the Mesk and the Occident, and even far away Supreme Windy, all in a city called Advesperaskit in Vesper Messina, her homeland. The name of the city means evening comes, but she was dressed in a white and pearl dress on an emptied-out plaza with the crowd far away. Already her Theriers, the secret servicemen of the Innocents, were worried about. Oh yes, she looked like humanity's young mother, a perfect mother, insultingly beautiful. It was as if her face and shoulders and hands were covered in a soft down of underfeathers. You know this well, very well. Midwinter snow was beating the cobblestones around her. A small one of the men in this secret service killed her 22 years later. Something that had walked in our midst, watching us stumble for hundreds, if not thousands of years, until it decided to interfere. Interfere in the court. Dolores Day was shot in the chest with a fowling piece 8 times. The man, thought to be insane, said he once touched. This inhuman quality was witnessed by many others as well, glowing lungs and all. It is commonly attributed to mass hysteria. Terrifying is a term too emotionally charged for your semantic memory, or what, although she is often considered to be the greatest human being to ever live, there was something ominous about Dolores Day. Constantly, she was the most socially secluded and least self-aware of all the Innocences. Some modern thinkers would consider her a war criminal, for the Mesk state tried to detach itself from Innocentic rule. Parts of the world were experiencing whiplash from accelerating into secularism. Her mandatory education programs and mass resettlement of upstream Marguerite were problematic, suggesting those who fight against it are not part of humanity. She adored chess, yes, but also military war games. Dolores Day often holds a tiny tin soldier, but little is known of her Marchese husband. It's as if he vanished from history after completing his role, which was to introduce Dolores Day to court. This subtle terror is part of her iconography.
Lieutenant Yefreiter, you've stood there for over 5 minutes. What are you thinking of, if I may ask? Yes, glowing lungs are quite unusual. After that one time, they have not been reported to glow. You know, this church, the coast, we shouldn't linger. Finish what you came here to do and let's move on. This isn't a good place to get lost in.
A jigsaw of broken shards falls into place in front of you, a ghostly reconstruction of the stained glass window. Before it was shattered, there was an older woman beneath the younger one. Unknown. A motor carriage, a gunshot, someone falling into it, or maybe just hooligans looking for something to... The escutcheon on her throne says, Irene the Navigator. She is depicted as an older woman wearing thick-rimmed eyeglasses, holding a golden rights apfel in one hand and a scepter in the other. This is the queen her innocence day advised. Above, she herself is whole. Small figures of wise men, common men, worshippers walk up the stairs to stand at her feet. Below both women, in luminous black letters, and then along the left side, after life, death, after death, life again. After the world, the Pale, after the Pale. So could these words be the password that unlocks the filament memory?
Death, life again. This exaltation is common in Dolorian sacralism. In the early years, it was even incorporated as the RCM slogan. It was deemed subservient to use a strongly moral intern-related motto. We already suspected of bootlicking. The sentence was also seen as too feminine. It was a macho thing. Justice, union, prudence, and force. Not at all.
The mother of humanism towers above it.
Yes, we all are. Her name, body, and rule are synonymous with humanism. The laws we enforce are Dolorian in origin. It's not spiritual, it's constitutional. The Dolorian system does not demand...
The machine's keyboard is still the speaker.
Good morning, votre accident. Good. Please...
Let's look around. There's no use trying to guess the answer.
Received. Votre accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today? I have 2 machines registered to this company name.
Saint-Brune. That's the church. And Rue de...
Anything else I can help you with? Good.
The machine's keyboard is...
Yes?
Is that a man? Looks more like part of the carpentry of the Crab Man. The man leaned forward a little, fixing you with a steady...
Habitual alcohol use has made you into a scared little pussy, Holmes. But don't worry, everything...
That accent is Villalobos, a peninsula in Mesque, and a district in general. There's a sizable contingent of Villalobos-speaking Mesques in Rivershow.
I'm here to receive the mother's love You can too, Holmes. And when you ready, she would.
This man is obviously a habitual narcotics user. Do we really?
Hey, and what was that about? The bottle again? You haven't even drank that much lately. Lay off it already. Shish.
Está crudo, way. I see deep inside you. Your body and your spirit are suffering greatly from overindulgence. And you don't even know it. Not all of it. I was like you once. You don't know all the havoc Elvin.
You know, actually, since we're here, you may want to pay attention to what the ceiling climber is saying.
Don't trust me. Trust the mother. I'm only the messenger, Holmes. This is the Church of the Mother of Silence. You are welcome here.
You have no idea what the fuck he's talking about. Is he? Whatever it is, he's quite confident about it. Just look how 'tis not an act, my liege. Save him perchance, he hath deceived his very self. This man is a zealot.
Never known myself to be a crab, but if that's the name you got for me, I always thought of myself more like a flame, flickering along the rafters and beams.
That's not the only technique he's working on. Look at those carved sculptures. And is that a satchel of tools over there?
Sure am. Whittling wood used to be. Now I use those same hands in service of something greater than my own restlessness. It's all just for the mother, man. No need to overthink it. I was in a gang way, but my memories of that time are fading. Most of them are already gone. No, man. You gotta let that shit go. Then the mother's light touch.
Do you remember your name, sir?
Tiago's my name. But those syllables don't mean much to me these days. Your place amongst your fellows. Your place in the world. That's just the thing, Holmes. None of that matters. This is a special place. There's a perforation in the world up there. I circled it. Nurtured by the silence bestowed by the mother. One of these days. No. There's a new god in town. And she can be painted. She is a cavity in the dark beyond sense. She saved me. But I couldn't describe her to you. No one can, Holmes. And no, I will be incinerated, but not destroyed. Finally, I won with.
That sounds a bit like substitution behavior, no? You know a thing or two about that.
It's not like that at all, man.
Too gleeful, those words. He is lying. Not to you. To his very own self.
I know it will take time. Don't sweat it. I know it will take time. I'm a seraph, Holmes. I sing the mother's glory. I ain't from no Marietti, if that's what you're thinking.
Marietti is a mesque style of music and dance, commonly seen at all manner of festivities, especially weddings. It's delightfully quaint, owing to its peasant origin. He lost his cool there for a moment. Seems you hit some nerve.
Hard to say. I think I did some construction work here, back when I still have. Been spending a lot of time here ever since. The past is nothing to me now, eh? It didn't belong to me. I think they were. A long time ago. I had to shed them like skins.
They look pretty dapper, actually. The sinewy figure lingers on the wooden beams, blending into the shadows.
Police raid a while back.
Did you witness it?
Not really. Or at least I don't remember much of it anymore. The mother's love.
It looks like he truly doesn't remember. There's a vagueness to his sense of time.
The ones in the tent outside? Right? I see them. Guessing they're the ones who... Nah, man. They look pretty funny. And I don't harm no one. Why not? They wouldn't bother me none. I'm usually way up there. Might even be nice to have some company. Other spooker? Oh.
The Aita is Grandma?
No. I just call her Viejita because of her clothes. She's actually quite young. Or maybe not. That's what I said, Holmes. Don't really follow her comings and goings. Just see her typing on her computer now and then. We got different interests. I'm afraid not, Essay. You just have to wait.
Or search through her radio computer.
Too many times, Essay. You need...
Surveys are a good way to fish for personal information, especially in the name of public safety.
Don't sweat it, vato. What you think of that? Makes me almost pity La Nilita Pequeña. I think we're done here, Essay.
That was, however, I'm still not sure how it...
The machine's keyboard is still illuminated. The speaker...
Good morning, Fortress Exit. Good. Please, good. I have unlocked the filament. After ending the call, please press print to access the filament. Fortress Accident, is there anything else I can do for you today? Good.
The machine's keyboard is... The printer prints out a long text document with dated the first entry made on the 4th of February, 51 by an unknown. Arrived at the church. The door was boarded up, so I used the crowbar to get inside. Looks like the place has been deserted. Nothing out of the ordinary, but I'll ask around. Need to figure out how to get the electricity in. The lieutenant leans closer, scouring the printout over your shoulder.
4th of February. That's over a month ago. Whoever set up those machines has been here for... Our case? No, I don't think so. It must be some local eccentric.
6th of February, 51. Had a little chat with the local fishermen. Said I shouldn't go near that sea. Even one of the spookers themselves said 7th of February, 51. Finally got the electricity in. Next on the agenda, a new antenna.
Why would anyone need any of this equipment here?
8th of February, 51. Bought the antenna. Had some problems setting it up. Called Simo for help. Heard the others are back to making art. Drinking somewhere out of town. Sulislav started a rock band again. Lexi has been seen asking money from strangers. But at least the artists have their act together. They're qualified labor. They can get work anywhere. Graphic design. I just have to find out what caused that data loss and be done with it. Still don't understand how it managed to wipe out the backup, when the backup wasn't even connected to the front. I know. Everyone thinks it's impossible. They say I must be lying.
Seems like something to do with radio computers. Unfortunately, something about the backup data getting destroyed. And how everyone thought it was the authors. I think these people worked in the radio computer games business. The one we saw in the Doom commercial area. They must be our former co-workers.
February 51. Brought some food from the grocery store. Apparently, there's a strike going on.
The strike. We are nearing the date of the murder. Keep reading. I'm interested now.
25th of February, 51. I've been sending data up to Lintel for a while now, trying to recreate the data loss, but nothing. Didn't even feel like logging in, the disappointment. But I did discover...
Is she talking about?
28th of February, 51. Yes, the first recordings confirm that the swallow is real, and I'm not just losing my mind. It's a pillar of silence, with a diameter of approximately 3 meters.
The pillar of silence. She is talking about the silence. Is she suggesting it's more than just an architectural quirk?
The lieutenant doesn't answer. He follows your gaze, studying the basins. The water shines in them. No ripples. March 51. Some kind of young disco men have appeared next to the church. I've been trying to record the silence to find the Fortunately, the song is so monotonous, I was able to devise an algorithm to factor it out. The other day, one of the disco men came in. If that disco man must be a cell.
The girl on the ice?
March 51. I got a call from the repeater station. Someone has tried to access the radio computer in our old office in Martinez. Can't do anything about it. The storekeeper still...
I knew it wasn't a good idea to meddle with them.
No. It was a great idea. You're learning things. This is how you learn things about... March 51. A new 2-meter aux cable. Noodles. Cracker. Your reading is interrupted by the sound of the church. A string makes straight for the radio computer.
Breaking into my radio computer, I see.
Yes, you are breaking in, but not into her radio computer. You're a master circuit bender.
I do apologize for the intrusion, madame. We are with the RCM, you see.
Well, you won't find any music venue organizers here. It's just me and my computer, and it has been this way for weeks. Now please give me some room.
We should talk to her after she has rebooted the machine.